Oh, you know what? I want to tell the story of my camping trip. I don't know if I've told you guys this yet.
Is this okay? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
So at the start of spring break, this year, which was like March 11th. This was literally the week before all the schools got shut down.
Yeah.
So this is before Corona was like going rampant in the States or whatever. So it was me, Tanner, Gabe, Matthew, and Trey. We all went on a camping trip up at Lake LBJ, which is about a 2-hour drive from here.
Wait, what?
From where I live.
What?
Lake LBJ. It's a pretty big sized lake. I was trying to think of like a lake in San Diego that you guys could picture, but I don't remember there being any lakes. So
Yeah, I poop on my hand.
yeah, it's a pretty big lake. But so yeah, we go up there, right? We take 2 cars, Tanner's truck and Gabe's van. I go with Tanner, Trey and Matthew go with Gabe. And we drive up there. Everything's fine, right? We set up the tent, we set up camp, we're chilling. And then we check Snap Maps, you know, and then someone realizes that our classmates are at LBJ as well. And one of them owns a lake house, right? So we're like, oh, bet. They could pick us up in jet skis because they have like 3 jet skis. So we hit them up. We're like, hey, we're camping here. Well, and then we share them our location. And they're like, all right, bet. So, we drive. So Tanner and Trey drive over in Tanner's truck to pick them up from the lake house and bring them back. So, I mean, before like they came back, the guy who owned the campgrounds, he told us that we couldn't have visitors unless we like paid extra money to have them over. So. We broke the rules here and we brought them over. We were just playing like Cards Against Humanity, talking about whatever, and so it's 5 of us and 5 of them, and they're all girls, by the way. I don't think I mentioned that they're all girls.
Oh.
John?
John is cringing.
Why?
You're like, oh man.
Oh, man, I know what's gonna happen. You don't have to tell me.
Oh, what happened, Chris?
So we have this big ass tent that can fit 7 people.
Really?
You know what's
This is
gonna
not
go
where it's
down.
going, lad. This is not where it's going.
How do you know it's gonna fit 7 people? Exactly.
So we're like,
I already know where this is headed.
so we're playing Cards Against Humanity around the fire, right? And we're just like having a good time, chatting, and then we're like coming up with a plan in case the campgrounds guy comes back, right? And we're like, all right, so we're gonna leave the tent door open, and if Mr. Camping comes back, all 5 of you are gonna fly into the tent, all right?
No, gang.
And so yeah, lo and behold, Mr. Camping returns to like sort out payments or whatever, and they just this is the funniest thing. You just see 5 girls fly into a tent, and then the guy pulls up and doesn't even know. And then Gabe was the one paying. Like we gave him cash. He had the cash in his wallet, and he had to pick it up from inside the tent. So he goes to the tent, unzips it from behind. There's 2 doors. There's one on the front and one on the back. Mr. Camping was in the front, so he went in the back. And he told me that he was about to freaking die of laughter because all 5 of them are just in there staring at him, trying not to make a noise or laugh. They're like all trying to not laugh. It's the best thing. He eventually like drives off, but yeah.
Oh, and I gotta go to the bathroom.
All right, have fun in the bathroom. John, don't bring us with you.
I'll go with you. I wanna see.
So why are you gay?
You'll do it.
No. Here, you can stare at this wall.
Mute yourself at least, please.
I don't want to see the wall. I want to see you.
Mute yourself. Mute yourself.
Oh.
No.
No,
You
put on
jerk
full blast.
off.
Okay.
He as loud as you can, please.
Sick.
Ugh.
Oh, he's done. Sick. All right, so.
Dang.
Oh no.
Oh my gosh.
All right, so. Yeah. Anyways, a few days later, we're at the campgrounds again. All 10 of us, I guess. We're playing We're like, oh, what was the game? It was like. It was the game where you go around in a circle and you.
Don't knock loose.
and you ask a question like, who's the most likely to I don't know, climb up a tree and I don't freaking know. Who's the most likely to own a Home Depot? I don't know.
Alright.
Definitely tag.
And then we'd say the question out loud to everyone, and then the person who's up would whisper the name into the person that's next ear. And then we would roll the dice, and if it was like a 1, 2, or 3, we'd say who it was that would own a Home Depot. Or if it was a 5, 6, 7, or wait, no. If it was a 4, 5, and 6, there's no 7 on a dice. We wouldn't say who it was. Like, we'd keep that a secret. So, like, you know, as you can tell, we're a bunch of stupid high schoolers, stupid juniors, and we're, like, asking these retarded questions, like, I don't know, who'd be the most likely to suck dick? So, yeah, questions like that, you know? And then, all of a sudden, these guys in, like, this Jeep roll up, right? They're, like, speeding down, like, a good 30 miles an hour down this dirt road that we're on, and we set up right next to the boat dock that was there, and they're freaking flying towards the boat dock. And we're like, we start yelling at them because their windows are down. We're like, stop! You're gonna fly into the lake, dude! You gotta stop, right?
That's the entire point.
And then, luckily, they slammed on the brakes right before they were gonna go in. But not so lucky for us, because the driver comes out. He's drunk out of his mind. He comes out with a dizzy stick and a 12-pack of beers.
You know.
He goes up to us. He comes up to us and he's like, "Y'all want to party?"
Oh my god.
And we're like, in my head, I'm thinking, I am down, but I don't say anything, right? Because that's dumb. And then Trey and Tanner like de-escalate the whole thing, and eventually he's like, "All right, bet. Where do you guys live?" Or I live out here, just like down the street or whatever. He actually lived on the same land that we were camping at. Like, so he literally lived down the street. There's like a hunting shack next to the lake there, that he rents or something. I don't know. But he lives there, and he's like, "I live right there. You know, you can come over anytime you want. Where do you guys live?" Tanner's like, "We live near San Antonio," and I'm like, "Tanner, you don't want to tell him where we live." He's like, "Oh, man, I have family down there." And we're like, "Tanner, you're an idiot." And then he's like trying to offer us beers and stuff again, right? John L, stop.
Yeah, John, I didn't hear you wash your hands.
John, you're still muted.
Let's leave it that way.
Yeah, I'm down.
Keep
But
going
yeah,
with the
anyways. So yeah, he tries to offer us more beers, but in doing so, he drops all of his beer on the ground, and like this like 6-pack or what was it, 12-pack or whatever, just flies out all over the campground in front of our tent, and then he like drops an open can like right next to the tent. So
really,
the tent's like beer now.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So we're like, "All right, time for you to go," and he's like, nah, I'm sure you guys want to party, right?" We're like, "No." And then at this point, all the girls like head back into their car. That's there. Oh, I should tell you, before this all happened, Mr. Camping came along in his golf cart.
Nice, Mr. Camping.
He's the guy who owns the land. I forget his name, so I'm just calling him Mr. Camping. He comes along and he's like telling Tanner to move his truck because it's on his St. Augustine grass or whatever. And he's like, "Move the freaking truck." And as all of this is happening, the freaking drunk person's flying down the road into the boat dock. And he doesn't notice it. He completely missed them flying down the street. Like, he was completely oblivious. All he was focused on was the St. Augustine grass.
I was like,
Why were they downtown?
It was crazy. He knew the girls were there at this point as well, so he was charging us like an extra $12, which isn't too bad, I guess.
That's so much.
So yeah. Anyways, so they're there trying to get us to party, and then at this point, 2 of his friends come out. They're both girls, and they come out and they're like, "Hey, you know what? We should probably go. What if we get caught?" And the dude's like, John, get out. Back to your room. I swear, this kid, he just wants to cause chaos. But yeah, so the girls come out and they're like, "Hey, what school do you guys go to?" And we're like, we actually go to Geneva, but we told them that we went to a public school called Champion here. So they're like, "Oh yeah, I know some people that go there. Have you ever seen this like huge truck with like suspension tires and like I know the person who drives that?" And we're like, "No, never heard of him." We're like, "Well, say hi if you see him." And we're like, "No, don't think so." So eventually they go back to their car after they like clean up all their beers and stuff. Trey helps them out because they're all drunk out of their minds. They have no idea what's going on, and they put the freaking car in drive like forward and start heading towards the boat dock again. And then they slam on the brakes and then like reverse 40 miles an hour or something out of there. It's the dumbest thing I've ever seen. I actually have like Lana, who's one of the girls, was recording the whole thing, so I could play like a
It's really
recording
hard.
if I
It's
can
hard to
find it.
hear though.
I can just play it like this through my mic. It shouldn't be too bad. Let's see. All right. Can you hear it?
It just sounds like a party.
Now, fucking go at it. Good. Good. Thank you. Y'all on party talk? No.
Y'all want some party time?
That was one of them. Here's the other clip.
Where are y'all from? I'm from Blanco, San Antonio area. Where are y'all from?
Look at him.
Around San Antonio.
Hello.
Where'd y'all go to high school? Or where?
Hey,
okay,
we're gonna
so
head out.
where-
We gotta go. Yeah. Bye, guys.
Where? Yeah. So where'd y'all go to high school? Or where are y'all in high school?
Hey. Thanks for.
I want to think about it.
Get out for y'all.
That's
You said broken car.
Yeah, and then after that, all the girls got into Lana's Jeep, and then they just stay there in case we need help or whatever. And yeah, the guy's like drunk out of his mind. He knows we're underage as well because we told him that we're 17. I was 16 still at the time, but everyone else was 17. But yeah.